Morning, everybody. So, just to remind you, I'm on this, right? I'm on this learning track right now where you focus on these 4 areas. Yeah. And what I discovered, I'm just researching and watching videos and things, that if you fold your arm and you can press right in the joint, right where that joint is. Yeah. So you don't want to focus right in the joint, it's over here. So it's in this kind of so the joint, and then you move in a little bit, has that little pocket kind of, yeah, that's where you think. So you just think about this area, the 2 sides, and that means the kwa too, yeah? Right over here. It's not the joint, it's just inside of the joint. So if it's inside of the joint, that's the ligaments and tendons. Yeah. So if you, right, so where you're pressing here, if you just gently think of this muscle, yeah, extend your hand just a little bit, and you flex this muscle, you'll start pushing out. You'll push your hand out. And that's what you want. But if you think of the joint, then you're going to stiffen the joint. We don't want to stiffen the joint. So we want to open the joint. So you think this muscle next to the joint, and then you just gently flex it, and it'll push your hand forward. Yeah. And then if you add your shoulder blades, so if you're thinking pushing forward, so you flex this and then you push your shoulder blade forward, then your hand will move forward. And you just have to hold this muscle. You just hold that expansion. So same thing over here. If you're doing this exercise where you're standing on one leg and you're shifting, right, to free this leg, you have to sink over here. Same thing, it's not the joint, it's just inside, and you just sink and flex that. And when you flex that, right, it's like it's pulling everything here, so this side lets go. And you just hold that. So the whole time you're standing on one leg or trying to bend, you just hold that. You can't, you just have to flex that. You can't let it go. If you let it go, oh, you have that instability. But if you hold that, then very stable foundation. So that's the foundation. Yeah, really strong. So yesterday Ross and I were playing, we're just going back and forth, because there's you see these demos of the teachers flying people. It's like all these little parts have to come together. So Sung, and I keep on talking about Sung, relaxation is in there. And then this expansive quality is in there. And then activating these places, it's in there. And then understanding a little bit of physics and theory is in there. Yeah. So it's this quality they call pang. It's, if you imagine your body like a ball, so you have to have that's just slightly expanded. So if you're holding the ball and standing and you think round, your body is a ball, you just have to relax. Just really let everything go, right? So that's Sung. But then you want to have that relaxed feeling while you expand. So while you expand, right, that feeling that just expanding, just stretching, but you have to relax. Right? So the first thing that everybody does, you expand, they say, oh, relax, right? Everybody contracts. You cannot contract, you have to hold that expansion. So just to, these concepts are really, really difficult in the beginning. Right? You need something concrete and you just have to work at it. It's really physical. So these stretching bands, these resistance bands, right? This will kind of help me to explain that. So this feeling where it's just stretched, I don't want it way out here. Take the slack out and then just stretching. So this band is nice because I don't have to grab it. It just has enough friction right? And as I'm holding it, I can feel all the tension in my joints. I have to relax, let that go. But you see how that's slacked? Well, I have to keep that even pressure out and then relax and relax. I cannot let that come in. And I don't want it to go out. I'm just holding it, and then my fingertips, everything is expanded, and then I round. And then if I want, I can activate this. I can. So you can see from the side, holding that in. And that's really physical. Later on, it gets lighter and lighter. But in the beginning, right, you just have to like, oh, where is it? So it's that. You have to hold that stretch 100% of the time while you're relaxing. So, yeah. So it's not easy. Right? We all tend to kind of relax, like, oh, you lost it. So if we're doing martial arts, when you lose it, that's when the other person just plows into you because they're expanding. So if I contract, they're going to just expand into me. But for health, what does that do? You relax all the joints, right? All the nerves, all the muscles, all the tissues is relaxed. So no blockage, right? So all the fluid can flow, right? So the exchange of waste can flow in, nutrients can flow in, waste products can flow out, no blockage, right? The body can balance itself. It's like going through the Panama locks, but the locks are always open. Yeah. And if one starts closing, you have to balance that out. So that's what you're doing. You're trying to balance it all the time. So if you cannot do this 100% of the time, it's okay, right? But you have to recover it. Yeah. So that's that feeling, like a ball expanding, but totally relaxed. So it has to have sung relaxing, letting go of everything. So things that help is the heart. You think of the sun Qigong, put the little sun in your chest, warm and cool, smile, let this tension just drop, but smile inside. So have the feeling of smiling without having to have the physical muscles lifting to create the smile. They're really interesting. It's different. You want to let go of all the physical tension. And it just sounds opposite, right? If you go to physical therapy or if you go to a private trainer, it's like, come on, work harder, tense the muscles, right? Squeeze the butt, squeeze the abdomen. They're training everything I'm telling you what not to do. It's okay to do that, but that's not 100% of the time. That's just for that exercise, right? So the other thing that we did yesterday to help you explain is if all of you flex like this. Yeah? So you feel your bicep and you do this. The muscle contracts, right? Okay. So if the muscle is contracting, it's pulling the joints together. We want the joints open. So instead, you hold your hand out here, just relax, and just think of flexing this muscle and slowly try to flex this muscle. Just the muscle. And because you're not doing this, the muscle cannot contract, right? If you just do like this, then it expands. And that's what we're trying to achieve here. So you flex the muscle, but you allow it to expand. You don't fold, you don't do this. If you do this and clench, the muscle contracts, right? It feels really strong, but it's not any stronger, right? It's still the same muscle. But if you keep it open and loose and just slowly practice flexing just this muscle, it has to expand. And then the joints are relaxed. Yeah. So, yeah, you just got to do it and keep experimenting. Control it with your mind. You think about it. So just think about these muscles. After a while, just thinking of places on your body, you'll feel that part of your body respond. You'll become very physically aware of it. Yeah, and that's the beginning. And I started, I'm discovering this almost all on my own, yet just discovering. I don't have anybody saying, hey Randy, do this exercise, do this training. I just have to discover it. So I want to give you that knowledge so that you don't have to just stumble through it. And it's not so that you can fly somebody, but it'll just make you real stable. So the first part is just the rooting. So the fall prevention, right? You just have to have that nice stability, right, with the ground and be able to relax and have that. Yeah. And then the health just comes along from there. And then the whole philosophy of relaxing, that helps to remove the anxiety. So that's going to help the health too. I have so much anxiety every day. I cannot explain it. I have to go therapy. I have to go therapy. I'm not joking. My life is on one end, I have babies growing up, and on the other end, I have adults becoming babies. So, yeah. They're both stressful. One is more fun though. Okay, so just think about these 4 areas. Just become really aware. Just think about it. Relax and expand today. Don't worry about form. The form will come. Yeah, very different. My thinking very different from before. Yeah, kind of switching. All right, bring the hands up. Nice deep breath. Sink everything down. Relax. Just gather the chi with the center of the palms and the fingertips. Lightly, slowly expand the spine. Relax the hip. Put your mind way up in the sky. And then think deep in your body. Deep below your belly button, about 3 inches below your belly button, right in the center. Breathing in and out, being aware of those 4 areas, those 4 joints, the muscles just inside of the 4 joints. Relaxing and smiling. Pretend that sound is just meditation bells ringing. Constant frequency. Breathe in from the earth. Just extend your legs into the earth. Come up from the back, over the head, down the front of the body. The legs are lightly expanding into the earth. Keep the feet in front of the knees. Breathing in and out, letting everything go. Guiding the chi. You guide the chi just with your intent, just by thinking where you want it to flow. Up through the spine, the neck, the top of the head, down the front of the face, down the front of the body, flowing into the earth. Drawing up from the earth, through the bones, stimulate the bones. In and out. Come up from the side, looking out at the mountain. Drop the shoulders, extend just the fingertips. Breathing in and out. Right over here is a really nice place to think of the front of the shoulder joints. It's right here, you can expand the shoulder joints. Just flex them a little bit more. Breathe in, relax, and ha. Right here, ha. And flex the front of the shoulders, scooping down. As you squeeze, just flex the front of the shoulders. Right, the joint. Expand all the muscles and then let it go. Slowly relax them. Focus in the bones. Ligaments and tendons. All the ligaments and tendons in the body. Feel the whole body twisting and wrapping around all the joints. Bring everything back. Let everything go and relax. Let the legs go, let the shoulders go. Oh, I forgot to remind you to set the feet in the beginning. Start with the feet out. Just relax. And then slowly walk them back. Just until they're touching the earth. The toes will lift up a little bit at this point. And just gently press the legs into the earth. Really gently press the toes down. And just hold that. And relax. So expansion, but relax. Okay? So expand, but so inside. Right here. So every time, right? So we're really focusing on these 4 areas. Every time you exhale, you can flex these muscles. These muscles, you can flex them the whole time because you have that fold. If you take away the fold, you can try and flex them, but nothing happens. Right? So you hold your hand like this. Okay? You hold your hand like this, like you're holding the ball, and then you can flex this muscle, right? You drop your hand here. You can still flex it, but not quite as much. Drop your hand all the way down and try to flex this muscle. It's like, right? So this only works if you're rounded. So because we're seated and we're folded, this is always rounded, so you can just gently flex these muscles, right? And when you flex these muscles, you'll feel the legs pressing into the earth. Up here, when we come out, you flex these muscles, ha. And then as you breathe in, you relax, and then ha. So every time we exhale, you can probably flex this muscle a little bit. And just depending on the shape of your arm, you'll feel like, oh yeah, it's like, I can have more muscular strength, or it'll just be really light. Okay? So just look for that. So as you come up, right, we're breathing in, it's extended, and then you exhale, and then take a nice deep breath, and then slowly flex the front of the shoulder, and then let it go. As it straightens out, just have to relax that. And as you breathe in, you start gathering, flex it a little bit to extend it, and then relax. And then and slowly start flexing the front of the shoulder and down, and then you let it go. And breathing in, gently flexing them to extend the arm, and then relaxing and rounding and flexing and and then letting go. One more time, breathing in, gently flexing to extend the arm and fingertips, and relaxing and rounding, and then and down. Okay, one more time, breathing in and out. Take a breath in and exhale and down. Just relax. So originally the way we do the breathing is supposed to be breathing in one time and then exhale. But to start emphasizing and learning this, right? Breathe in, and right here, relax. So you relax, exhale. And then you have to take a nice deep breath, and then So you have little different levels, right? One place is a little stronger, one place is a little lighter, a little stronger, a little lighter, and then this is where you just, this is that full strength. I hate to use strength nowadays because I don't want you to clinch, but it's that stronger power, that stronger exhale. And then let everything go, and then little bit, and then let it go, but it's expanding, yeah? So you let it go, but you have to relax, but it has to expand. So you have to flex it just a little bit, just thinking of it, and then, so this is where you expand. You keep your mind here, and then everything else lets go. We keep this up in 6 months, you're gonna fly somebody. If you get to the point where outside of class you start thinking about it, like, yeah, one day you're just gonna go, oh, excuse me. Oh, yesterday I went to Long's and I said, hey, you want me to I'll take your shopping cart for you back to the wagon, yeah? I went back and I was going to just slam it into the next cart. There was a lady putting her baby with the husband and she was standing in front of the carts in between, like, oh, I almost hit her with the cart, yeah, the next cart going in, like, ah. Good thing I'm not good yet, because I would have just moved. Sometimes good not to be advanced. Okay, so yeah, feel that. And, yeah. Okay, so where are we? Number two. Yeah. One hand up, one hand down, looking to the side. So breathing in, relax. Breathing in and out. So as you turn, you breathe in. You're going to kind of lose it here, right? So you just have to relax and then exhale. And breathe in and out. And slowly turning the head. Breathe in and out. Okay, so when you study the shoulder on this one, as you're turning, this opens up, right? So because it opens up, you lose that roundness. So you can't really flex it much. You have to think about it. There's a little bit of flex just to expand this way, but look at your bottom hand. This is rounded. So this one can really flex down. Okay? And this is round. So before you only think of the top hand, right? Everybody forgets the bottom hand, but so as you come in, this is light, and then this one you can feel the flex. The hand comes down, it relaxes. This is like squeezing the chi so it flows out of this hand. Yeah. So it changes everything, your perception of how we're doing the movement. Yeah? So over here, this is flexing a little bit more. This gets light, and then relax. And they both even, and then they change. Because this is coming to the side, if you tense this, right, you just cannot turn, you're going to bind it up. So if you relax it, oh, it nicely turns, it's relaxed, but this one can be like, oh. Yeah. One open and close. Okay, then shoulders. So this is more that to just start stretching and working this joint now. So squeeze. Come up. So we're not really worried about flexing the front of the shoulder. We're just stretching it and trying to loosen it and expand it. Yeah. Just trying to work the shoulder joint. And breathing. And come forward. Squeeze the shoulder blade together. And this is really focusing on moving the shoulder blade. All the way down, relax, and then one side. So the arm that's doing nothing, you're still aware of that point, but right, it's just kind of neutral. The legs are still pressing into the earth, so you still have to flex that hip pelvic joint a little bit, and then come forward. But this is just to stretch and move the joint and learn how to move the joint, learn how to manipulate the joint. Yeah, I'll be so happy that day I come to class and one of you said, "Oh, Randy, I flew my husband, my mistake." I'll go, "Oh, that's really bad." "Oh, you shouldn't do that." Make sure your body can turn. Just 3 times and then 3 times forward. Oh, so yeah, I have to talk to Kumu about these points. I have to share this with you and compare notes. It's really interesting, really interesting. All the way down, and then 2 sides, squeeze, make those shoulder blades touch. Pretend they can touch, and then up, and then forward, and then down, and then forward, and then up. And squeeze, and all the way down, and relax. Okay. And loose circles. Loose circles. And put it back together. So over here, this movement, you're just holding this constant, just thinking about this, but you don't really have to flex them very much. You just think about them. It's just that light expansion. The palms rotate as relaxed as possible. Right here, it can flex a little bit, right? It's expanding. And over here, it relaxes a little bit and gathers. You want to keep that nice rounded feeling. The back is rounded, the shoulders are a little bit rounded. Smile. Anything that makes you smile. And try to turn the body a little bit, loosen up all the joints. So if you turn, one hand will come forward a little bit more, right? So the hand that's forward, you can feel like, oh, I want to flex this one a little bit more, because it's coming forward, and then it evens out. And then right here, it's like, whichever hand you want to emphasize, like, oh, that one needs a little bit more strength, or it can be, you can try and keep them equal. But when one hand comes forward and one hand comes back, you can feel like, oh, there's a preference. Right here, right about there, you can flex a little bit and relax, and then right here you can flex a little bit. And relax. Okay, moving to our spine. So as we do this one, we're just expanding, we're just holding that expansion just a little bit. So to expand, you don't lift this, you don't lift this, you expand here, expand here. And this will go down, this will stretch up a little bit. Okay. And then relax the hip, relax the spine. And then come forward a little bit so it rounds. And get nice rounded, and just gently flexing those muscles, looking for that balance. Relax the hip, relax the lower back. Legs sinking into the earth, and then take a deep breath and relax. Just holding those shoulders, just being aware of the shoulder joints. Connect the other side, just flexing, lightly flexing. Okay, so if you're holding your mind right in those points, you cannot tighten the elbows and the arms. You have to just hold in these 2 joints. Okay, nice deep breath. And exhale. Remember, wash through the forearm. Keep the mind on the inside of the shoulder joints. Breathing in, expand, and relax. Just holding that nice roundness. rolling that ball through the forearms. Just take your time. Just keeping your awareness right in the front of the shoulders, right in the front of that shoulder joint, right in that ligament and tendon. Turn the palm, elbow drop straight down. You have to turn your body. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Focusing so much on that shoulder. Lift and fall. And right here, expand. Expand both shoulders. Nice deep breath, and you let go of both shoulders. Right? That muscle in the front. When I say the shoulder, I'm talking about those muscles in the front of the shoulder joint. Then expand both sides. Let go. Breathe in. But expand. And let go. Expand. Breathe in. Exhale, but relax. And then gather. Then expand. And then come back to center, right in front of the heart. Polish the heart. Sun in the chest. And notice where my hand is. Right? Notice where my hand is. It's at heart level. If it's up here, you have to drop it down. Solar plexus here. So it's right in the center. Right in the center. Smile and just think of the heart expanding. Think of that sun. It's a nice expansive feeling. Turn the ball. Keep on breathing in. So this is a small wind up. So it's a small flex, not a real big flex. Gently letting go. Gently breathing in and winding up, and then gently exhaling and releasing. Just keeping your mind on the inside of those joints. Then come back to center, solar plex. Tilt the sternum up and down. So for our legs, now this is where we start focusing on these. So before, just the hands, right? These are switching back and forth. The first two, the legs are just constantly holding that expansion. But now we're going to walk, so now they're going to switch left, right, 100%, 0%, 100%, 0%. And the hands. But you want to focus on this, so if you lose the hand, forget about it. just remind, think about it. But really focus on these ligaments and tendons, those muscle groups and ligaments and tendons. All right. So just practice pulling the chi up and down. Just thinking about the inside of the shoulders. Let it all go. Reset, and then up, breathing in and out. One more time. Legs are resting. And now slowly press both feet into the earth. And activate this part while you're pressing. Press the toes down. And then shift to one side, left or right, so you can pick up the other side. And as soon as you can pick up that other leg, that's when the hand begins. Step forward. As soon as you touch the earth, you start switching. Slowly pressing the other leg down. When this goes 100%, this will just pick up off the floor. Switch. Start pressing this side down. and the other side will release. Step back, just take your time, just keep your mind right in those joints. You're switching from one side to the other side. Oh, I can hear myself now. Yeah, don't let go of that inside of those joints. Just holding and just switching the flex from left to right. Don't think about picking up your legs, think about sinking that now. And then you'll just feel the other side release. You just know when to pick it up, because it's just going to bounce up by itself. And if you just focus all into here, the upper body will start to release. You have to put everything into these joints. And you have nothing left to tense the upper body. And come back to center. Hands on the side. The same thing except feet off the ground. Doesn't matter if it's half an inch off the ground, just try and keep it off the ground if you can. Sinking, 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 holding that in the standing leg, stretch the back of the knee, lift, keep holding this, keep holding that, keep holding that. Now start switching. Stretch the back of the knee, get that nice stretch. Right, hold this side. Now start switching. Pump the toe. Get that sacral pump. Pump the toe. Push the hip out. Lift. One more time. Turn the waist. Oh wow, we can hear the music now. And come back. Relax, relax. Okay, hold the ball. Right, flexing the ankles. Same thing, holding this. Right, you can do it like really powerful if you want, or just light. Right, as long as this is constant. As long as you're sinking this down, where you can just feel this just floating, this just wants to spring up. Yeah. Just focus on this side, holding this down. Yeah. Don't worry about the foreign on this side. Just focus in here. As you're holding this down, just feel how this just keeps pushing up. Yeah. And the other side. So it's funny, I do the program, I'm supposed to be telling you, focus on flexing the ankles. We're warming up the ankles. I'm telling you, focus on here. Don't worry, the ankles will flex. You focus on here that whole time. I don't know if you're noticing, this muscle is activated, that thigh muscle. So we're training that thigh muscle, only the thigh muscle. No strain on the knee the whole time. Okay. Draw the heels up, just stretch the bottom of the feet, relax. Oh, cramp. It starts cramping, just shake it out. Yeah, so when we do this, right, you can't flex this, right, because we just want to pull the heels up. Okay, loosen all this up. Yeah, so, that's, I was explaining to Ross, I said, 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago, if I saw that video that kind of confirms what I'm doing, it wouldn't make sense to me. Because the stuff I'm doing now, I wasn't ready for it yet. the light bulb didn't go on. I would have looked at the video like, oh, that's interesting, but what is he talking about? Now I look at the video and, oh, like, oh, confirmation. Yeah. And then I can, yeah, it's that next level, but there's so many levels, yeah. But yeah, we got to talk. I got to share this with you. It's anatomy. There's anatomy involved. So this really specific area, flexing a really specific muscle, ligaments and tendons. Yeah, it just kind of changes everything, and it applies. I know it applies. The principle all applies to the hula. Yeah. Don't tell the lure guys. Oh shit. It'll just enhance their martial arts. Shh. Okay. Oh, where's the clock? See, I don't even know where my clock is. All right. It's so quiet now. I don't know what to do. I don't know if the guys on Zoom could hear all that background noise. Yeah, I hope not. Okay. So again, start with the legs out and then slowly walk them back. If it feels too uncomfortable, you can bring it back a little bit more. But right where the toes, you can tell the toes are a little bit off. Yeah, you're still anchored under the heel, okay? And then you can press the toes down. Okay? But as you do it, start thinking, wait, do it from here. So right, it's that feeling the legs are up. Don't press the toes down first. Just relax and flex this muscle. So relax and flex this muscle, and then you feel the legs pressing down, right? So you start from here and then press down, down, down. So flex this first, that activates the movement, and then follow through with the feet reaching all the way down, holding this expansion. So this is a you know, they like to use the term principles, but I realize that even principle doesn't translate quite right, but it's something called peng. So, you know, for years I've been doing Tai Chi, but like I said, I never was in a Tai Chi class, so I never studied the principles over and over. I just read about them. They don't make sense to me, because there's nobody to show me and say, this is peng, this is an, this is all these things, this is gao. So, it's a quality. So the quality of peng, they call peng jin in this. All of them, they have the general. Then they have, well, you can subdivide it into 16 different categories, right? Like, it's like saying, hey, I want to buy kimchi. What kind? What do you mean, what kind? I want spicy. Okay. What kind of cabbage you want? What? You want cabbage or you want another vegetable? How spicy? What? You want carrots inside? What? You want it sweet? What? You want it dry? Leave me alone. Just give me a bottle of hams. Kohala kimchi. Oh, what's wrong with you people? I'm not Korean. Leave me alone. So, the quality is, the example that I like the most is you think of yourself like a ball or a balloon. So a balloon can expand, right? Depending on how much pressure there's inside, it can expand. Depending on the integrity of the skin of the balloon, it can expand. Great integrity can expand large, right? Not great integrity, pop. So that's where strength comes in. That's where you got to build up the ligaments, tendons, muscles, right? You have to eat and such. So how much integrity do you need? That's up to you. Right? What do you need? So the outside of the balloon, right? The balloon is like this, and when the inside starts expanding, then the outside just expands as much as it can. Right? If it's like a tire, then it can hold a lot. And that's like potential energy, right? So you stand next to a tire that blows out, you're gonna go flying up in the air across to the next lane. You stand next to a balloon that blows out and you just scream. Maybe you get a little sting from it. So, pang, like I say, I like this explanation the best. It's very simple, like a balloon or a ball that's just that constant expansion. And because it's a ball, every point on the inside, every part of the surface is equal pressure, right? Because it's a ball, it's a balloon. So pang applies to every part of your body. The inside, right, is expanding out. The skin of the balloon doesn't do this, it just reacts, it just expands. It has to be relaxed. If you take nitrogen and you freeze a part of the balloon and it becomes stiff, what happens to that? It just cracks. So it can have zero tension, so you have to change the idea of tension. It's expanding, there's tension, yeah, but it's not this kind of tension. It's expansive. It's tension created by expanding. This has to be totally loose. Cannot be limp, right? Has to be expanded. So you gotta just practice and feel, because, oh, it doesn't make sense at first, right? Wait, I feel tension. I want to expand more. I have to put more muscle into it. How can I be relaxed? If I relax, I lose everything. So you just have to keep experimenting. It's the guess what number I'm thinking between 1 and 100 game. Right? First you start off real concrete, and then you just have to muscle, and then refine it. And then one day, wow, that was really light, but I'm expanding. And then you just have to discover all these other qualities. Smile from here. Don't hold the balloon here. If you hold the balloon right in front of your heart and smile, the quality is going to change. If you expand but you relax, the quality is going to change. So that's something you have to give up, right? If you're pressing against something, we all want to be real physical pressing. So you just have to experiment. Press but relax. So, Ross has like the perfect training tool for that. He has one of those kicking stands, right? So it's like a punching bag, but it's mounted on a stand with a spring or something, so it gives a little bit. So I told him, so he can practice, because it'll give a little bit. If it doesn't give, don't worry about it. Right? You don't want to fight, but he can practice expanding while relaxing and holding that expansion. So sung is relaxing. So you have to have sung in expansion. And then these 4 points, those are the 4 points. Those are the key. Those are the ones you just think about all the time. You learn to make these 4 points like the number one places you're going to activate or relax or think about. And everything else is going to follow. Yeah. So we're talking, and I said, who would imagine that you have to, right? We have to build up this muscle, right? So we're going to do every exercise to just hyper focus on this muscle. And I'm telling you, focus on this muscle, these ligaments and tendons, and then do your squatting, but don't give this up. And then this will work. But remember what I said on this, right? We don't want this kind of contraction strength. We want this kind of flexing where it expands. This is not bad, it's different. But that's not what we're training here. Expansion. So, what happens in the universe? Expansion, right? We say our universe is still expanding, we're still growing. What happens when it stops expanding? The planets, the stars die. What happens when it starts coming in? It implodes. Okay? So we want to keep it alive, expanding. So it's physics. That's the Tao. Tao is physics. A lot of emptiness, right, between the planets and stars. That emptiness doesn't contract it. That emptiness somehow is still expanding. Right? This transfer of energy is still expanding. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's stand if you can for a little while. Yeah. If you want to remain seated, you can remain seated. But just to activate these muscles a little bit more, if you want. Okay. So the feet. Let's just start regular. Just start simple. So you stand. Everything is equal. And then you slowly pick up your hands and just come down a little bit, just fold. Okay? And let the hands go all the way down, and right here, just stand again. Okay? So that's just one cycle. So we're going to do several, come up. It's like waking up and then sinking. Relax every joint. And then rise, slowly rise. When you hit zero, just start again. Nice, relaxed, deep breath, and down. Relax all the joints, look straight ahead. Just rising. So as the hands finish falling, you're rising, and then you come back. Okay, so that's all the form we're going to do right now. So as we're doing the form, start becoming aware of these four joints. Relax the bottom of the feet. Be aware of this, and just be aware of the change where you're drawing and then relaxing, right? Expanding and relaxing. That's all we're doing. Doesn't matter if the hands are like this. Doesn't matter if the hands are like this. Yeah? Just focus on these joints. Nice breath, just focusing on those 4 points. When I come here, let this fold, let this sink. Yeah? Let it go, and then stand, and then come up. So finish the breath, finish the movement. Yeah, just let it go. And then stand, open. Slowly you can expand maybe a little bit more. Your heels could come up a little bit. So you can make the circle as big or small as you want. Let everything go. Right here, sink. Yeah. If you feel yourself rocking back, then just rock your whole body forward so the feet flatten. Right? You see how I'm bent like this? I'm not worried about it. I don't have to be like this. Just sink into here. Let everything go, and then begin again. Open the throat. Let the joint go, and then flex that a little bit, sink into it. Not flexing much, just thinking about it right in here, right inside of that joint. And then straightening out, and then begin again. Let everything go, relax. Finish the breath, finish the movement. Everything as light as possible. Sun in the chest, smiling. The face is relaxed. Let everything go, sinking into the earth. Just resting, just for that second while you finish the breath. Folding into that joint. Light flexing. Coming up a little bit bigger. A little bit more expansion. Letting that joint go. And flexing right here. Flex a little bit. Let it anchor. And then straighten out. And then draw a bigger circle. Release. Right here, flex and fold. Anchor, yeah. See if you can feel that joint starting to relax and let go. And just relax, right? Sink right into here, there. So people would say, hey, you can't fold like that. You can't walk like that. Who's walking? We're training the joint, right? We're training Sung. That's what we're doing. But if you walked like this, well, nobody could touch you because you'd just, you'd be so relaxed. Yeah, let go. So, as if you're focusing on here, you start releasing. So, if your hand wants to come out here, oh, that feels good. If your hand wants to be here, oh, that feels good, because you have to make these joints the priority. As we're going down and sinking, right? Release, and right here, gently flexing. When I gently flex here, I can feel my ankles and my feet release. And I have to just let that go, right? And then the whole body expands, yeah? Just gently expanding. Yeah. So you do it to your comfort level. If you come up here and you're doing this, right, that's too much. So you just come up just where you can just feel that, and then relax. Yeah. So you expand to what you want to expand. And then that's where movements can be like, yeah. It can be anywhere in between. It could just be like this. Still letting go for here, still sinking, still expanding. Yeah. So it can be anywhere from 0 to 100, right? You figure out what 100 is. 100 is your capability, right? Are you like this TheraBand, or are you the light TheraBand, or are you the heavy duty TheraBand? Right? So listening, we say listen, right? Does it feel good? What does it feel like? Right? Listen to your body. Okay, so we'll put the sun form in. So just practice the sun stance while you're doing this. So the heels are just lightly connected. They can touch, or you don't have to touch. This will force you to bend a little bit. Okay. Just relax. Still thinking of these 4 joints, do the same thing. And now you can see we're starting a little bit lower. Okay. So because we're down, it's a nice solid feeling, and then release. Yeah. Let everything go. And holding right here, flexing a little bit, and then releasing, straightening out. Just straighten out, and then it expands. You can't straighten out your legs all the way. Right? When they're pointed to the side, you're gonna screw up your knees. Right? So you can't come up all the way, right? Because the knees are already pointed out. Here, let everything go. Just at the bottom, just flex and sink. Drawing the chi up, and bring it to your heart. Bring it to your heart, and then let it go. Let all the joints go. Straighten out. Draw the chi up. Hold the chi, bring it to your heart. Smile, then let it go. One more time. Imagine you pulling the chi up from the ground, you warming it up, you gathering it to the heart. Right, smiling, the heart is expansive. Just rolling it up and down. Okay, bring it to the heart. Do an open and close. Now roll it the other way. Come out, and down, and into you. And exhale. Let everything go. Relax. And drawing it up through your feet, into your body, rising up, tilting the sternum up. Let everything go. Imagine it washing inside of your bones, through the legs, the spine, coming out of the arms. As you breathe in, you can feel your shoulders expanding, just like wings, expanding. Come up and do an open and close, right at the heart, smiling. You just hold this right here. We're going to shift to your left. You pick up your right foot. Step out and turn and sink into that joint and turn and press. Just to the knee, not too much, not too much. And then open. And then sit back, sink. Sink everything into here until you can pick up that leg and tap it back in. And hold this right here, and then small step out. We're going to switch. You're going to sink everything into here, pressing this down. When you feel this release, just gently bring it in. And then you switch and turn. You're going to press this side down. Just sink and press. When you feel this side release, then you can take a small step. This is hands waving like clouds. Sink into this side, sink and press. When this side releases, then you can step in. So you don't think about stepping, you think of sinking. When it releases, I gotta step. Sink. It releases, now I can step. Okay, come back to the center. Walk this way. Right, so you have to sink. Turn, sink into here. Your left leg releases. Step out a little bit. Sink, press that forward, and then open. Single whip. And sink back into your right. When this releases, just bring it, tap it back in, and then step out. Okay? Slowly. Sink this side. Sink and this releases, then you step in. Sink on your right. When the left hip releases, then you step. Sink on your left. The right hip releases, then you can step. And the hands are just moving up and down. Just keep your mind on those 4 areas that help you to release everything else. And come back to center. Forward. Okay. So as you come forward, lightly expand, lightly flex the 2 sides, lightly flex this, and that causes that expansion. Right? Come back to here again. Right? So we're going to come out this way. That means the legs are expanding. That means the hands expanding. So all 4 areas have to gently expand from here. It's 25% in each area. And then you hold that. Just breathe naturally. Just finish standing all the way. As the joint straighten out, it just slowly lets go. All right, rub the hands together, loosen up. Oh, almost missed the chair. Almost missed the chair. Oh, that would have been on video and Zoom too. Oh, I didn't tell Ross yesterday. I went into the intersection. I kind of forgot what street he's on, side street. And I went into the intersection. I wasn't watching the lights. I was watching the bus turn, and I just assumed was open, and the cars on the side were stopped. And I realized, the light's red. I was like 1/3 into the intersection, like, oh, back up. That was like, wow. No matter what, yeah, it's just a matter of when you're going to have those moments. You just try not to have them too often in between. Okay. So, you know, to me, understanding these 4 areas is like magic. Just thinking of these 4 areas. So again, it's not the joint, it's inside of the joint. So like, right, you feel right where that joint is, and then you come inside, okay? And then you press there. You just press, and then you just gently flex. You learn to just control just that muscle. So then same thing over here, right? It's not this right where it meets, it's inside. So that's the ligament and tendon. So you can experiment with that, right? If you find the joint and you try to flex the joint, like, oh, nothing happens because that's bone. All that's going to happen is the bone's just going to tighten and nothing can move. To move the bone, we have to move the muscle tissue, right? The bone doesn't move. It's alive, there's stuff going on inside, but the bone cannot do this by itself. It's the muscle tissue, it's the ligaments and tendons, right? It's the large muscles. So you move here, you're flexing this. If 100% is distributed between the joints, between those areas, then there's very little or no intent on the joint, so your joints are free. So how many of you grew up with at least one other brother or sister? How many of you grew up with at least 2 or 3 other brothers and sisters? When mom and dad or grandparents are yelling at the others, you're 100% free, right? All of you get over here, right? Equal distribution. You, why are you doing that? 100%, right? You're over here going, you're totally free to run away until intent comes back to you. Like, you could be out the door and like, get back here, right? That little 1% intent, like, oh, I almost got it. And you can feel, yeah? So if 100% is here, the joint is free to move. Totally free to move. Okay? This expansion, you just feel it pulling. And then if you only pull from the fingertip, everything in between is free. So you want to expand more, yeah, you gotta maybe lift some weights, you gotta do some exercises to increase the integrity of the muscle, the integrity of the tissue, the integrity of the bone. With all these exercises we're doing, that's what it's doing. By focusing and flexing here and putting it in the action, you're doing the form, whether it's walking, standing, whatever you exercise, whether it's the Qigong, whether it's Tai Chi, Kung Fu, doesn't matter. This is gold. It's like the light bulb went off. This is gold. Doesn't matter what the form. You activate this. Oh. So first level is rooting. Yeah, solid, solid, solid into the ground. Just solid into the ground. Then the high level is don't have to put 2,000 pounds into the ground to expand. Now you're not the bubble on the floor. You that soap bubble floating, and you still have that pong. So that's high level, yeah? Yeah. Then the highest level is you have the structure and you just think about it. So I had 2 experiences with energy just flying me. One was a plant. I asked the teacher, can I feel? And he just slapped me. And I just went. I just started moving backwards. My body was like this. I'm trying to get my legs under me. I couldn't. Just had so much transfer of energy, so much momentum. I was just. But then I remember said, hey, he put guys behind me to catch me. And I had just enough knowledge to know that it's transfer of energy. If I fight it, oh, it's going to be bad, yeah? And if I just go limp, drop to the floor, they're there to catch me, that's their job, and then the energy will just run out of me. And if I don't resist, I'll be okay. So everybody else, look at him, right? Inside it's like, oh, thank you. And then the other one was my teacher. He was demonstrating, he was holding my hand, it was a Tai Chi class, and he was talking, and I'm looking at him, just holding for him, and he's got my hand, and he's looking this way, and suddenly, like, why am I staring at the ceiling? Felt nothing. I mean, it was just, why am I staring at the ceiling? This is all happening in a matter of seconds, yeah? Then I realized, I'm falling. Oh, I'm like this, I'm falling. Where's the ground? I had no concept, right? So I put my hand to brace. And I hurt my wrist because I didn't know if I was 6 feet, 5 feet. Was I just here? Yeah, like panicked. And then when I got up, I looked at my teacher and he was kind of like, he didn't know what happened. It came out of him one day. It just flew. Just the intent and just a twitch. And he's talking over here, right? He's not talking to me. So all that energy flowing into me is just intent, right? Totally unbound, right? I just flew. I felt nothing. Just transfer of energy. There's no impact. It was just, boom. I talked to the other people. They said, Randy, you went about 6 feet up in the air. Maybe he meant like 6 feet up and back, but I flew. Yeah, I never talked about it with my teacher. He was just confused. He didn't know what happened. Yeah, and he had a couple other events happening at his home when he was doing something really strong, and then just boom, and stuff just flew. So it involves this pung. Pung by itself doesn't fly, but pung can manipulate. If there's resistance, right? If there's nothing pressing against the balloon, there's nothing. Yeah. So if somebody's pushing against you and you don't resist, they're going to push harder, right? If they're screaming at you, yeah, we all know this. Somebody's screaming at you, they're trying to control you, and you don't respond, they scream louder. Right? And that's where the violence comes out. Right? If that doesn't work, then you're worried about the physical. So you say, oh, don't resist, but non-resistance is not just physical, there's a whole, right? There's physics involved. You cannot just stay there and be pummeled and take it. But if you train, right, you smile at that person and there's no resistance, but only smiling from the heart, that's a lot of energy coming out. And if your sternum is up and you're confident and you're looking at them smiling, like they get more and more angry, but they're burning themselves out. But of course you have to train, right? You have to know something just in case. You get that guy in drugs. The psychology, the logic, not the same, right? They're going to come after you anyway, so you have to have something. But yeah, that can, for everybody else who's just showing, you stand like this and just emote that heart energy and that confidence, like, it's okay, be crazy, right? Let it out. They'll say everything, but you cannot take it personally, because there's no resistance. So I remember a friend of mine, high level, and get these guys who always want to challenge and play with you, yeah. And he told me how he just kind of slumped against the wall, but he's high-level martial artist. But the friend to harass him, right? He's trying to goad him into doing something, right? But he's like, no resistance, right? Nothing to challenge. The friend couldn't do anything. He lost before he could even attack. So those philosophies in the body is the same thing, right? The physical is the easiest. The psychological is the hardest, yeah. Because we're all like, as I say, I have anxieties too. This class saves my life every day. Okay, enough lecture. Seminar. We have to charge for that part. I better take it off the tape. We don't give free seminars, do we? Okay, hands up. And down. All right, so just extend the legs, right? Extend the legs, bring them back to where it's comfortable. Hands on the lap. Lightly close the eyes. Just think of those 4 points, right? Don't have to really flex them, just think about them. And relax. Sun in the chest, warm and cool, putting out energy. Relax the face while creating the feeling of smiling, the quality of smiling, the quality of the heart energy. You slowly open your eyes, rub your hands together. Yeah, loosen up your legs. I have to bring my heavier mallet. That's loud in my living room. When I come out here, I need a little heavier mallet. Warm up the eyes. Yeah. Brush the scalp with just the pads of the fingers. Center to outside, front to back, about 3 times. Unfold the ears, just pull them up, gently unrolling them, working your way down. Open up the back of your neck, just your fingers tips. Move your head back and forth, up and down. Just walk your fingers up and down the cervical. Rub your hands together. Just cradle your face. Try to put your forearms as close together as possible. Relax and smile. With sun in the chest, warming up the whole body, warming up your palm, warming up the muscles, the jaw. Let all that tension in your face go. Hold that feeling of smiling. Move your mouth around, open, and gently massage your jaw. And then bite down, squeeze. Okay, hold your palm like this, right? So you hold that ball, relax. Right? Just think about the joints, don't flex them, just think about them. Just think light, think of that sun in your chest, think of the sun in the sky, and slowly move your hand, right? As light as possible, just slowly move your hand. You're scanning with the center over here. So as you move your hand, just listen to your body. Is it stronger? Is it weaker at certain points? Right? Is it feel solid? When you feel like strong, that's your chakra. That's where you want the palm to be. So you can just kind of search, and you can come down third eye, same thing. Just gently scanning and listening, and just teaching yourself to be sensitive to energy. And then slowly you feel like, oh, this feels stronger. This sometimes it'll vibrate. Yeah, as you loosen up and as you cultivate, it'll vibrate. Yeah, then you can throat. Your throat, you can think front of throat, back of throat. You can think inside the throat, inner voice. Yeah. And then heart, right? Same thing. And then solar plex and sacral. And then root. You don't go like this for root. You just just hold your hand for root. Yeah. So like this might be sacral second, and then root. You just be down here, and just connecting center and the tip, creating that triangle. Yeah, but sometimes just scan, and then you can just kind of scan, just holding that ball and just scan. Even with the fans, you can tell there's a little change. Yeah? You can just scan, and then one of the things you feel when you scan, one of the first things that I started to notice was the temperature change. I didn't really feel the buzzing or anything, but you notice like, oh, the joints are cold. Makes sense, right? Just not that much muscle, not that much blood and stuff going through. So the joints always tend to feel a little cold. And then the phenomena that I started to find was that if you have a bruise, that's the perfect time to test. You know, when you have a bruise, you just feel like a needle shooting out. That's just that dirty chi, yeah? Just shooting out. You're like, ouch! You'll start to feel that every sort of like a pinprick. Yeah? So you feel that pinprick, you just think, oh, just feed that good heart energy, or just wipe it down and throw it away, but just feed it in. Yeah? And that's just the beginnings of healing, yeah? Playing with energy to heal. But if you play with energy to heal, you're always channeling. So think heart energy, right? Sun connected to there. So that way you're channeling through your body. You're not using your chi. And then if you're playing with healing, you wash your hands afterwards. You don't have water, you just dry wash. You have water, you wash your hands, because mentally you're cleaning that out. You get into healing, you hear all the stories. Oh, this guy learned Reiki, his hands got screwed up. Oh, his joints got screwed up. You listen to what I'm discovering and passing on to you, right? Joints cannot be locked. Chi has to flow. You pull in and you use that to give to the person. You don't use your energy. Yeah. You have to wash, you have to cleanse. You cannot hold on to it. Yeah. So all those stories like, oh, don't heal because you absorb that person's. Yeah, it's like mud and dirt. You gotta clean afterwards. Yeah. You have to. And if you're feeling like, oh, that's where you go into the sage tents. Put a blanket over you, just like that good sandalwood or sage incense, and yeah, sometimes you can just feel it like, yeah, like sludge. Or sometimes you close your eyes a little bit. You can try this. You find a point, the lighter point. So it can be anywhere here or like here. And you close your eyes a little bit, right? Not a hard squint, but just a little bit, and you just stare at that point. Yeah? Yeah, you just there at that point. A small aperture becomes really clear. And then sometimes you see like little vapor coming out. So like if you scan me, like, so if I'm against that, yeah? So you do that, you just scan me, make your eyes have that small little aperture, and you just look, relax. And you just look to see if you can just see like, those little waves right around my body or something, and you might be able to see. It's just practice. But I'm kind of like white on white right now, so I should stand behind there. Yeah. And the first time you feel something, you're hard to trust, right? Like, I'm making it up. It's just something else. It's the light, or it's the humidity. And then the other one you can do is your own fingers. So you put your fingers down, and same thing. Just think about this, but think of projecting through your fingertips. You have to stretch, and just think of projecting down, down, down. And same thing. Just squint. And then when you squint, you might see that little aura around, and if you're projecting, you might see it get longer and longer and longer. And those are little training things that you can do, and they also confirm, that energy work is real. So you just. So then one of the first things I used to play with people, I'd say, hold your hand up like this. Yeah, just relax. Yeah, just relax and think of your heart, and then I would stand here and I would just like, I'll try to project over, and just little tricks, but it's confirmation for me and the other person. Sometimes they feel, sometimes they don't. Yeah. And like now, the other day, I touching the other student, he said, Randy, when you touched me, my pacemaker went brrr. Okay. I go see my other friend, he has a defibrillator inside. Hey Kenny, how you doing? How's the defibrillator? See if I can get it to go. Okay, hands up. Nice deep breath. So expansion, right? So pung, expand, relax, empty on the inside. Just that relax, expansion like a ball. Palms together, forehead, throat, heart. Right hand, left hand. All right, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody. Thank you everybody. Oh, it's a great camera. Yes.